Hey witches, Jenny Love, the Rogue Witch from Broom Book and Candle. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please click the little red subscribe button and you'll get more videos from me. So, this is going to be week 7, 8, and 9 of the Pagan YouTube Challenge. Because I'm really behind. I'm sorry. I'm really behind it for a really good reason. And I'm all in the witch life. And what I mean by that is, I was laid off from my muggle job in 2015, on December 30th, 2015. My boss retired, wasn't anything scandalous, and I'm really trying to be self-employed. I dabble, I read tarot cards, I read them for clients, I work at 3 different shops. I'm a Reiki master and a sound therapist, and I teach some classes about those things. And I also do make some herbal, magical, witchy sort of products. And I do some vendor sales. So it's been really busy, and I'm not complaining. It's really good. So things are picking up, and I'm really grateful for that. So I'm not complaining about the busyness. However, my YouTube channel's lacking because I have been so busy. So, but I thank everybody for, coming out to see me at Ambrielle's Enchantments or The Dreaming Goddess or Serenity for You, and coming to my classes. I love it. Thank you. But back to YouTube and the Pagan YouTube Challenge. Week 7 was Sacred Texts. And I commented to Joey Morris that all I'm going to say about Sacred Text is see Joey Morris, because she said, really, I don't know what to add. The Sea Priestess also. See the Sea Priestess. Because their videos really said what I thought. And the only thing I will add, Molly from Her Speak, anything that I kind of shout out to in this video, I will put in the down bar if you're curious. And if I forget something, just comment, let me know. Hey, you forgot her. So anyway, Molly at Her Speak, I think it's gonna be one of my favorite quotes is, nothing is sacred until you make it sacred. And that is true. So if we're talking about sacred texts and how you feel about sacred texts, I feel it's not sacred till you make it sacred. I feel like there's lessons to be learned in everything. Grimm's fairy tales could teach you a lot of lessons. So, the Bible, the Vedas, the Quran, things that have been around for thousands of years and started out as oral tradition. Obviously, there are lessons to be learned. And obviously, they were written by humans who are deliciously flawed. As Joey Morris points out, a historian is sort of an investigator and makes inferences and kind of investigates what they believe to be true. And here's what we think. Could it be possible that something will show up to prove that theory wrong? Of course. So, you need to make things sacred to you. I know if you're new at this and you're sort of looking for direction and you're watching the Pagan YouTube Challenge, you get a lot of, you have to do what's right for you. You're going to get a lot of that. You're going to get a lot of, I do what's right for me. This is the way I see it. This is how I roll. You're going to get a lot of that. And that's not incorrect. However, I do understand that maybe you want some direction. You want somebody to go, here, read this book. And you should. You should read. I mean, there's this library. I have one upstairs. I have books everywhere. And I love information. In my muggle life, I was a paralegal. Research is so important. everyone has a sacred text that was oral tradition and then put into print by beautifully flawed humans. That's how I take it. I take the lessons I can learn from it. It's sort of a springboard. I appreciate the stories, the energies. Excuse me. I tried to make this video before and I talked for 20 minutes and then I realized the camera stopped about here. So now my throat's hoarse. Which problems? Sorry. So, sacred texts. To conclude, see Joey Morris and the Sea Priestess and read, read, read. And don't just read what appeals to you. Read what doesn't appeal to you. If it doesn't appeal to you, I think you should know about it. You should read stuff that you don't feel appeals. Like if you don't think it appeals to you, you should read it anyway. Like I said, I studied Wicca, and not that it didn't appeal to me, and not that I disagree with it or think you shouldn't be Wiccan. I'm not saying that. For me, I read it, and I kept going with it, and it's not for me, but I kept reading about it. I wanted the information. I practice with, as you saw in my solitary with friends, one of my very dear friends who was on camera is Wiccan, and we've practiced together. He's probably the first person I did practice with. I appreciate everything he has to say, and I appreciate being at circle and ritual with him. So, and he has, I'm sure, an opinion on sacred text, which we will get to because I'm going to have them all back, I think, at the end of March. We're going to go over the, probably up until Ostara sort of stuff. So look for that video as well. So yeah, sacred text. See Joey Morris and the Sea Priestess. So now we'll talk about week 8, which is, do you have a matron or patron? And I have Hecate. I don't think you should feel lacking or deficient or like you're doing something wrong if you don't, because I know a lot of people that work in sort of the archetype for gods or goddesses. Like they've worked in the abstract. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I sort of think it blurs the lines between the sections. And what I mean by that is if you're Wiccan, and I know I use this as an example a lot, but even if you're not, I'm trying to think of if you practice hoodoo, and there are certain gods or goddesses orishas that you're aligned with, and that's your path. And you're Wiccan, and you have a certain matron or patron that you follow. Or in the ways of the Strega, they're the goddess Diana. I think if you practice in an archetype, the lines are blurred between those sections. I think labels separate us. I think coming up with a label is limiting. So I kind of fight that a bit. I don't like to say, hey, Hecate's my matron, and that's it. I think it's limiting. I also don't run around thinking I practice hoodoo. That's not what I mean. But I appreciate certain orishas for their energy. I have a Santissima Muerte statue altar in my living room. I appreciate her energy as well. I attend a witchy group 3 times a month at Ambriel's Enchantments, and we often work with a different deity and learn about a different deity. And the last one we worked with was Ganesha, and I have to say, I don't have a patron god. However, there was a fire lit in me when we worked with that deity. And that's funny to me because that's what happened with Santissima Muerte and the Orisha Oshun. Hecate is different. She showed up in my Reiki practice. That's how I sort of came to her. She kept showing up. Somebody would mention a book by her. Somebody would mention her story. And every time there was kind of a nudge. That's how you know. I think maybe that's what we should be discussing with regard to your matron or patron. When someone sort of mentions it, or perhaps you see a sign or something, there's a nudge. Not everything's a sign, but when it is, you feel it. And I cast a circle in my head when I'm doing Reiki, and I call in the quarters, and I'm doing my thing, and I called in Hecate. And then I found out all there was to know about her. Then I found out she's a healer. She's Queen of the Witches. It was almost like, of course she's there. Absolutely, it made perfect sense. I also am a student of herbalism and aromatherapy. I'm in the middle of getting both of those certifications and make herbal products in my business. And I have a Hecate statue. I've had that a while, and I recently got a new one, and on it there was the prescription symbol, the RX symbol for prescriptions, like a pharmacy. I wondered why, and I had to go find out, and it was because she is often sought after for her knowledge of healing plants and herbs. Of course, she nudges me. That's how I found her. She nudges me. Have I dedicated my practice to her? She's the only deity I work with? No. But she is above all others, and she is special to me. Anyway, so that's week 8. So I think, like I said, I know you're probably sick of hearing you got to do what's right for you. You're not lacking if you don't have one. I don't have a patron god. I did appreciate Annie at Mirth and Reverence on her channel talking about years of practice without a patron god and how she's exploring that now. And I think I am going to explore Ganesha a bit because, like I said, I've always had an affinity for elephants. Always, always, always. I don't know if they're my spirit animal. I have no idea. I've always just felt, I get like a feeling in my chest. And then when we learned about Ganesha and worked with Ganesha at a ritual, there was a nudge again. So who knows? So that's week 8. I think I'm going to try to get to week 9 now. I'm hoping this video is not too long and I'll have to cut it off. But week 9 was... Sorry, I should have had it out. Hold on. Do you journal? That was it. Do you keep a journal? And journal your experiences? Yes, yes, yes. You have to journal. And I don't mean sort of, kind of like a diary sort of thing. I mentioned in my first 2 videos on this channel that you need to write everything down. As a new witch, you need to write everything down. Don't forget to write everything down, because every experienced witch will tell you that when she forgot to write something down, it was important and she never got back to it. I have a story exactly that way. You have to write everything down, especially recipes or spells you worked. Don't just take it for granted that you're going to be able to do it again. Write it down. Write down everything you did. The moon phase, the day of the week, the month, whatever. The astrology chart. What sign was the moon in? Everything. Write it down, because when you go to do it again and it doesn't work, you'll wonder why, and at least you'll have you'll know why. So if you write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. That's really all I can say about that, is write it down. And I know it's hard to write everything down. I know it's hard to journal. You can't sit down every day. I mean, everybody has a life, and it's difficult. But I think it's important to write everything down. I think it's beneficial when you look back 4 years ago, I was somebody else. I was angry. I know I've said this before. I really was. Here's my funny story of the day is last night I came home and my son and his cohorts were mucking up the joint, and it set me off, and it was like the old me coming flying out of my mouth, and I started yelling. I'm like, I hurt my back. Can you hurt your back? Yelling? Like, I actually felt a tweak in my back as I was yelling at these kids. And I haven't done that in so long because I meditate. I am a Reiki master. I know better. I journal. I'm much happier. Like, I'm not that person anymore. I guess every once in a while you need to, like, lose your shit, and I did. Who knows? But I used to be really angry and just everything weighed on my head, and I see the change. So journaling to see where you've been is fascinating, to say the least. So journal. Write it down. Have many, many, many of these. I have many books. If they're on sale, I buy them. If I see a pretty one, I get it. This is my Christopher Penczak notebook for the Inner Temple of Witchcraft for that Year and a Day series that I'm doing. And of course, I have my fancy Leonie Dawson 2006 calendar. Thank you, Amber Honey Raven, because I had to run out and buy it. And this keeps me really organized. And this is sort of a journal. And the workbook is sort of a journal also. And it's, it's super cute. And, I like things that are super cute. It's sometimes, I've said it before, sometimes things are just fun. Not everything is a sign, and not everything means it's not the biggest deal in the world. So sometimes it's just fun. And sometimes journaling is just fun. So go journal and keep watching. Coming up is a witchy haul and a witchy field trip. With my girls at Ambrielle's Enchantments, we are going on a field trip, and I am going to tape it, and then I'm going to put it up, and that should be super fun. I'm also probably going to run it on Ambrielle's Enchantments. They have a channel also. I'll put them in the down bar. And Solitary with Friends at the end of March. Going to record one of those. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Broom, Book, and Candle. And you can email me at broombookandcandle@yahoo.com. And it's broombookandcandle, A-N-D, candle@yahoo.com. And the website is under construction. That's my big news, because I need a place to sell my products. And so one of the big things I'm doing this year is putting them online and developing a website. And my cousin at Ree & Company, and I will put her website in the down bar. She's the genius behind my logo and the genius behind my website, which is coming, where I'll be able to put all my products up on there and hopefully be a self-employed witch. So you guys go get your witch on. Bye.